What's up, guys? Sorry about being a little late. I was pretty sure this was set to 9. I must have misclicked or mistyped. So thank you for hanging out and waiting. Apologize for not being on time. Okay, so with that said, somebody disliked this video from inside the VIP group, which is not okay. It helps with interactions and search, but because this is a private video, that doesn't matter. And also on private videos, YouTube allows us to pull the stats of who liked, disliked, commented, etc. So after this is done, I'll have to pull it up and see who disliked a video in the VIP group. Not cool, guys. Who is that? I'm sorry about being late if that's why you disliked it. Okay, anyway, so how was this week? How's everybody doing? Welcome in. This is the VIP group, of course. This is your access to me as much as possible. I was gone in Vegas, so of course we didn't have shows for 2 weeks, so I apologize. But we'll get back to a normal schedule. Okay, first off, I always want to ask, is there anything crazy going on, any emergencies, anything you need to get taken care of right away? Questions, concerns, comments. Otherwise, I want to talk about a really important subject that we've talked about before, but I did a bunch of store reviews last night and today, and I still have a couple more to do. And I'm finding some really bad trends and some bad listings and some bad things going on inside of people's stores that I wanted to bring to your notice, to your attention, and also so that you guys don't make the same mistakes, or so you can fix things if you need to fix them. With that being said, is everybody here? Can everybody hear me okay? Can everybody see me okay? Is everybody alive? Because it doesn't look like the chat is got anything going on. If you guys could go ahead and link it in the Facebook, it's in the Facebook group as an event and a link, so everyone should be able to see it. I don't know why nobody is here. It's kind of weird. Is anybody in the chat that I can physically see? Super odd. I see Star and I seen Colleen, but that's all that I saw. I didn't see anybody else. Renee's here. Okay, Renee's here. Make sure that it's in the... There we go. Now some people are coming through. Sherry's here too. Just give it a second. But I have seen the same mistakes going on over and over again. I know Star's got to head out of here in like 5 minutes. So let me drop the link, if my Facebook will work, into the Facebook group again. It's there, guys. I link it. I put it up as an event, etc. But... here you go. Let me just drop that link on in there. See if anybody else will drop by. Maybe they forgot. Maybe they didn't see the links. Maybe they missed the links. They forgot about it. I don't know. You guys got to set schedules for this stuff, right? Okay. So, Lexi's here. Julie's here. I can hear. Okay. So everyone can hear and see me. Turned off the Yankees and Red Sox. Yeah, the Yanks and Red Sox are playing. If you never heard of Jomboy Media, Jomboy Media on YouTube, he does breakdowns of Major League Baseball games, and he's a huge Yankees fan. I don't watch baseball, but he makes it pretty funny. Okay, so like I said, I was giving some people some time to jump in here. How did everyone's week go? How were sales? Were there any questions, concerns, comments, or problems that you need to address right away? If not, I'm going to jump into some of the issues that I've been seeing on a regular basis in the store reviews that I've been doing. I'm just trying to make sure everybody's here who wants to be here. And if not, then we'll get to it. Sorry if you missed it. You can watch the replay. Scott, what's up, buddy? I see you there. Okay, so one thing that in the store reviews is a recurring theme, happens over and over and over again. People are listing, whether they have 200 listings or 1,200 listings or 1,400 or, I even saw 2,800 listings today, which was pretty impressive. They're listing and listing and listing and listing and listing all these items, but it's a lot of items that are just not good. It's a terrible thing for me to give the tough love and the harsh. They're just bad items. If I'll take it perfectly into example. If I list this candle for sale on eBay, it's not going to sell. Nobody's interested in a plain red candle. Do candles sell? Of course they do. Do red candles sell? Of course they do. This is not an item people are actively going on the internet, on e-commerce websites and looking for. It's not a tech item. It's not popular toys, electronics. It's not a rare vintage collectible item. You know, people always looking for Beatles stuff or this or that. This is just a red candle. And so, you know, I look at some stores today where people had like, you know, like wrapping paper, plain blue wrapping paper. Nobody's looking for plain blue wrapping paper. Will you sell it? Maybe 6 months, a year from now, maybe at Christmas, maybe not even at Christmas. Who knows? They've had it up since last Christmas. It's just blue wrapping paper. Nobody is actively looking for that item. It's just not a sellable item. Your store has to have good items or you're just not going to move stuff. You can have 10,000 active listings. If it's all junk, it's junk. You can have 1 million listings. And so I look at these stores one after another and I try to find a nice way to say it where I'm like, hey, it's really great that you spent the time over the last few months to build your store up to 400 or 500 active listings. But I got to be honest, if I took every one of those listings and I made a whole spreadsheet of every listing, and next to that listing, I put, you know, the average sale price or like the net after fees and shipping and all, what they were going to get in their pocket. If we had 500 active listings, there's a lot of people that have like $6 listings with free shipping. They're going to net like $1. And that's like out of their 500, 100 listings. So we take that and we're saying, well, 100 listings isn't even going to make you any money. And then we take another 100 listings that's just pure junk. It's stuff that will just never sell. We all know what type of items I'm talking about. And, you know, if they ever sell, it'll be 2 years from now. So then we remove those 100 items. And then they've got 100 items that are just they're good items, but they're just so blastedly high priced, they'll never sell them. You know, it'll just sit because no one's going to pay $70 for an Adidas dry fit polo shirt or whatever. It's worth 20, 25 bucks. They're trying to sell for 60. It's just not going to happen. So yeah, it's a good item. It's sitting. So by the time we go down and we do what I call a store audit, I call it store reviews, a store audit, whatever, we end up finding that even though they have 500 items, on any given daily basis, 400 out of the 500 are probably never going to sell. So in reality, they only have 100 reasonably good items that are decently priced with a real chance of selling. And so that's why they're like, oh, my 500 item store only sells one a day. Right, because only 100 of your items are actually reasonably valued or listed or good or priced right to sell. And so that 1% sell-through rate is 1 per day. Hence, you have 500 terrible items or 400 terrible items and 100 good or well-priced ones. And so you're only selling one a day. And so they get really frustrated. Well, I spent all this time building this store. Yeah, but you spent all this time listing junk and listing it too high, whether it was good or not. So with that being said, this is how you have to, Mexico's part of global shipping. So this is how you have to look at everything. You know, it doesn't matter how many items that you actually have. You can have 1 billion items. If they're all junk, who cares? And it's really, really hard to make people understand this. It's really hard to make people like admit, I guess, like to be honest with themselves that their items are no good because they've spent, you know, it's hard when people spend that much time and that much effort and that much listing and hours and sourcing and posting to get to 400 or 500 or 600 items to really admit that, hey, I really wasted all this time. And it's not everyone. Some people have really good items and they just have some pricing or photo issues or titles or what have you. And we can fix those. The problem with 500 bad items is you can't fix 500 bad items. The only way to fix it is to get rid of them. I mean, and it's at that point where people are like, well, I'm not just going to sell it for $9.99. I paid $5 for it. Right. It's worth $9.99. You can't force an item to be worth more than it's worth. And so you just have to blow that stuff out. The other thing a lot of people don't understand, and this is proven fact, is if you've got the same items relisting over and over and over and over again, day after day, month after month, and they're not selling, eBay recognizes that. Even if you end them and relist them, it's still going to kind of know. And your sell-through rate for your whole store is going to get drugged down. If you've never looked at your performance, your click-through rates, your sell-through rates, if they're not up at a reasonable level, which it depends on your store size and what you're selling and clicks and all that, I can't just give you a set number, but if those numbers are not good, your store is going to suffer because of it. Yeah, it takes a lot of people. I've sold a lot of kitchen tile in the past few days. Random. That is pretty random. Deb sells a kitchen tile. Selling an expensive emotional item like an engagement ring, I would never recommend selling on eBay or Amazon. That's the type of thing that you want to sell locally. Yeah, sales fall through. People flake on Facebook and Craigslist every single day, day after day. You just have to, keep selling it. If it's an expensive item, it's worth some effort. I would never list something like that on eBay. There's just way too many ways to get screwed. Even though I know the ins and outs of how to protect myself, selling a $3,000 or $4,000 or $5,000 engagement ring is just a bad idea. Had a wooden nickel that was mailed on 7/24 still hasn't been delivered. Yeah, sometimes they get delayed, nothing you do. Marie says she made a lot of mistakes. It's tough to really look at your listings and see like, hey, this item is really not that great. I'm not saying some items don't take a while to sell. Look at Star's plush stuff. It's a good item. Somebody wants that Disney plush or that, Nickelodeon plush or whatever, and they take a long time to sell. But when you look at that as a long tail plush item or a necktie like I do or whatever, they sell. You can look at the sell-through rates and see that it's a sellable item. It's not just a random pack of staples or something. I see so many bad items. Renee wants to talk about Amazon. Absolutely, we can. Post the crap on Macari and need the money back. Yeah, a lot of people do it just to move it and get the money back. No doubt about it. Okay, I just signed up. Most books I'm scanning are duds. What topics should I be looking for? Renee says that most of the books she's scanning are duds. So, okay. So with books, 95% of books are not good scans. Like they're going to be penny books, 50 cents, $1, whatever. With that being said, when you're scanning books, it's a numbers game. If you've ever watched anyone that does a lot of books, Prof Sales is a pretty good, Jason over at Prof Sales and Karin, pretty good example of this. They'll tell you that they went out to like a library sale and they scanned like 500 books and they kept like 50. So, 10%, it is really a low thing. I've gone through a lot of thrift stores and a lot of different places, like Goodwills or Salvation Armies, and just scanned for an hour, like literally just scanned every book and found like 2 books that had any value. It's just the way books work. It's a numbers game. Remember, people don't read, people do read books and buy them, but it's not anywhere near what it used to be. And people have digital and Kindles and ebook readers and iPads and all that stuff. So that cut down on the market a lot. What is a good type of book to look for? So there's really 3 categories that I know for a fact will do well. Textbooks are something you always want to look at. Now, some textbooks are completely worthless, and some are worth a lot of money. Obviously, if they're newer, updated versions, there's a good chance they're going to be worth something. Older, outdated ones typically don't have any value. There are some collectible ones, but textbooks are something you should always look for. Now, there have been some Vero issues with textbooks lately. I don't know much about that. I'm not a bookseller. Admittedly, I've never sold books on a regular basis. I have come across ones that I sell one here, a couple there. Never really been my bread and butter thing because it was just a pain in the butt for me in the beginning. And I never had a lot of luck. So number 1 is textbooks. Number 2 is animal-based. That sounds crazy, but a lot of different animal-based books. So bird-watching books do well. I've sold books on how to train deaf dogs and blind dogs. Horse books about like equestrian and show horses. I've seen books about collecting exotic animals, and snakes do really well. If you see animal books that seem like they might be reasonable or unique or interesting, that's something to definitely look for. Animal books are really good. The third thing is like fantasy. Okay, so fake fiction typically does not do good. Like even the Twilight and the popular stuff, it's just so market saturated and mass market media produced. It's just not really good. But fantasy stuff, Dungeons and Dragons, video game stuff, video game guides and books, Magic the Gathering does good. All that sort of weird stuff, tarot card reading books, books about Ouija and crime, real crime, true crime like Star loves. All that stuff, odd stuff, is things to look for. You really just have to scan with books. That's just all you can do. Native American books, yeah, I've seen that. Magazines, can you ship media mail? So the rule on media mail is it can't have legitimate advertisements. So if you're shipping a magazine from the 60s with ads that are no good anymore, that would be allowed. But if you're shipping a Cosmopolitan magazine from last month that has a legitimate advertisement in it, no. So there's, typically speaking, magazines are a no-go on media, but they can if they're old and outdated. There's some rules on that you can read. If the magazines have ad, you cannot use media mail. That's correct. If the ads are way outdated, which they put a date, there's somewhere that they put a date. I have to find that. I think it was more than 10 or more than 15 years, then you can send them media mail. They will allow that. Library sales on day one. Yeah, because people will take all the good ones. Car manuals are good. Yeah, that's another one. So here's the thing about jewelry. And Sydney said consignment is a good place if you know a good reputable place. Selling it on Craigslist is probably a bad idea. Selling it on Facebook is good if you use a Facebook group in your area. Like my general neighborhood is a very good area. I wouldn't post it for all of Tampa to go out to the ghettos and stuff. No, but if you're posting in a good area, I mean, you don't want to go to a pawn shop. You'll get ripped off. They'll pay you 10% of what it's worth. Most like consignment shops will give you a fair value. There's some that I'm sure are shady, but most are pretty good. There's a couple around here that are decent. The other thing is that, selling jewelry on eBay, that's one of those items that proving the authenticity or proving what was diamond, what wasn't, what carat, there's no way to really protect yourself through eBay. You want to locally sell a diamond, a jewelry. I don't know how people that do jewelry sales on eBay don't get scammed more than they do. I know a couple people who've done it and did get scammed a decent amount. It was just really high risk. And eBay will admit that the high-end jewelry market, like cosmetic jewelry or cosmetic costume jewelry and collectible jewelry and the stuff like Tanya sells from Thrifty Treasures, her stuff 30, 40, 50, 60, under $100 pieces, probably safe, even a couple $100. I've sold watches like Movados for like $250 on eBay that I bought for $100 at a pawn shop. I've sold that stuff with really no issues. I've sold a pair of earrings that I got that I knew were worth money. They were Chanel. They were real. I knew where they came from. I paid like $75 for them, and they sold for like $250. They were originally like $500, $600 retail. They weren't anything special, but I flipped, small stuff like that. But a big $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 ring or a necklace or a Rolex or something, I would never sell on eBay, ever. That is something I would want to sell locally. I'd want to sell in a wealthy neighborhood. There's a wealthy neighborhood behind me, and I would advertise it in their buy, sell, trade groups. And if you can't sell it, you just keep hanging on to it until you find somebody. So, oh God, she's on her other one. That's pretty funny. Okay, let me scroll down the chat here. I'm trying to read it. Estate jewelry buyers is where a few friends of mine sold. Yeah, estate buyers, of course, they're trying to make a profit, but I mean, it's somebody that's going to pay cash and be reputable and safe. So that's another option. Consignment shops, estate sale jewelry buyers. You could even, pay to advertise it. There's some actual jewelry sites that are dedicated to that. I can't think of the one off the top of my head that I used to know, but there's a couple of them for that. So. Escrow services for selling jewelry on eBay. Are you talking about the eBay valet? I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, the pawn shops don't touch Morganite around here either very much. They will, but they'll give you pennies for it. Yeah, eBay. Alexa said local wasn't ideal for who may say. Yeah, remember when you're advertising something local, whether it's jewelry or a high-end Louis purse or something, you're not going to get the same number of customers. My Alexa just went off. You're not going to see the same amount of customers and traffic. Obviously, you're advertising to one city versus the whole world, but there's just a lot of risk on eBay. Now, I teach you guys how to cover yourself through IC3Gov and taking photos and serial numbers. And relatively speaking, if the buyer is a good buyer, but unfortunately, those type of high dollar items with diamonds or Louis Vuitton or Rolex or anything like that, it's just a high target. I mean, people target scamming over cell phones that are $600 or $800. So certainly over $2,000-$3,000 diamond rings or $2,000-$3,000 Rolexes, $4,000 Rolexes. They're targets. $2,000 Louis purses. My friend Chris, his wife is like a Louis nutcase, and she has several Louis that she's flipped to eBay, and she's done really well. But the last time I think she flipped one, she had a scammer. And it pretty much turned her off to it. And when I say she's flipped quite a few, I want to say maybe 5 or 10 over the last couple of years, which to most of us is a lot to sell designer $2,000 Louis. But one scam is all it took. Out of 10, out of 20, 10%. I mean, that's kind of bad. So. Why is ThreadUp paying so cheap for clothes? They were so much better when they first came out. Overhead, expenses, the business is growing, need to make more money, profit, that sort of thing. Good night, Renee. Thank you. No, you used to be able to have an escrow service involved, and they would hold the money until the buyer confirmed the jewelry is authentic. I've never used an eBay escrow service. Not familiar with that. I don't sell jewelry. I mean, admittedly, that's not something I sell. Again, I flip an occasional watch here and there, but even those are few and far between. I usually keep watches or I sell them. I've sold local watches with no problem, but again, it's only $200, $300. I put it up on, Facebook Marketplace or Facebook yard sale groups, and somebody's like, "Hey, I saw your watch for $250. I'll give you $200." Boom, meet them at Starbucks, $200, gone. They check it out, everything's cool. I never have problems with local. I've met thousands of people locally. I'm always safe about it. I didn't used to be. Admittedly, in the beginning, I was pretty cavalier about meeting people, and I fixed it. And then, I cut down greatly on who I was meeting. I used to meet anyone. I was meeting 10 people a day. No joke, no exaggeration. 10 people a day I was buying stuff from or selling stuff to. And it was pretty scary. It's part of the reason why I started carrying a weapon. Gotta be honest. Laura says, on my store, I have a feeling my items are too highly priced. Comps show much lower prices, but much lower in quality. So yeah, while you can get better prices if your stuff is better, a lot of people go right for that low price. So you have to keep an eye on that. You have to keep an eye, even though you have a better quality item, some people just want a better price. That's just the way it is. You can't control that. Some people are absolutely willing to pay up for better items though. So you can hang on to it and try to get the most that you can get out of it. Years ago, I bought a Mac G4 Cube using escrow. Yeah, I don't know that they have an escrow service anymore, guys. Deb and Esmeralda. I would have to check it. I've never used their escrow service. That's kind of interesting. Never had a need. I probably should have a couple of times. I'm gonna be honest. Where's the global shipping warehouse? I sold something to Mexico. I have a global. Maria, it's in Kentucky. Yeah, the label should say Kentucky. Are you sure that you had global shipping turned on? Might want to double check that. You can send me screenshots or email them to me. I'll take a look. It's possible you didn't have global shipping turned on. If you want to send me the order screen, I'll usually be able to tell. This was like 15 years ago. I know because I about my engagement ring on eBay and used it. Oh, 15 years for an escrow, yeah. I mean, that's a long time ago. A lot of changes in 15 years. I mean, eBay's what, 25 years old? 26? I don't know, something like that. So, yeah, I never used escrow. I've only been on eBay since I moved to Florida, actually a year after I moved to Florida. So, I didn't use eBay before that. That would have put it around... I mean, I did dabble on eBay right before I moved in Maryland. I sold a couple little things here or there, but... really, my eBay career started, 2000, that would have been 2005, 2006. So maybe as new as 2007. I've been on there 11 or 12 years consistently on eBay. So 15 years ago, I didn't, I was only 19 years old. I didn't, I probably knew what eBay was, but I didn't use it. So 15 years, you're talking about 2004, 2003. So the global shipping turned on is... if you had it across your whole store and all items, sometimes the order screen will show their Mexican address. When you actually click to print the label, have you clicked print label and it comes up still as Mexico? Because I've seen some people have issues with that where they showed Mexico, but when they clicked the print label, then it fixed itself and went to Kentucky. If it is still showing Mexico when you click print the label, you need to call eBay and have them check. It could be a glitch. It could have been a mistake. It could have been just an item randomly got shut off. Again, I'd have to see the order screen and see it. They said to cancel the order and have the buyer rebuy. Make sure when you cancel the order, you choose buyer asked. Don't choose there was a problem with their address or you will get a defect. Choose the buyer asked to cancel it. And honestly, you shouldn't have to cancel this because it's an eBay mistake. If it was turned on, it's on them. Here's the problem. When the buyer goes to rebuy this, previously, it wasn't including the global shipping program fee. They're going to get charged a whole lot more because of global shipping's increase in fees, and they're probably not going to pay for it. I'm just a thought. It's probably not going to go through. That's definitely an eBay issue. eBay's not allowing me to reconfigure photos. I like to change the cover shot frequently. Do you know anything about this? You mean your main picture? You should just be able to edit it. What do you mean by reconfigure? You just want to edit them, crop them, Laura? I just think it's weird that that eBay would tell you to cancel an order that wasn't your fault that it got messed up. That's terrible because the buyer's not going to probably rebuy it. And if you choose anything other than buyer asked, you're going to get a defect. That's so bad. Oh, obvious glitch on eBay's part, and you have to suffer for it, and that's terrible. I don't like that. I think that eBay should have to eat that cancel and change the order based on what the buyer originally bought. And they should eat any extra shipping costs. That should be on them, 100%. But they're not. They're going to make you cancel it, and you're going to probably lose an order out of it. Why? Because that's what eBay does sometimes. Not fun, but what can we do? All right, so that covers that, I think. I've sold several collectibles with no comps, but do you have any advice on a time frame where eBay would consider a long tail garbage item? I'd like to change the cover shop. Collectibles with no comps. So if there's no other solds, it could be because it's a unique rare item, or it could be just it's not a demand item. Depends on what it is. Honestly, I give everything a couple months, especially if it's a collectible long tail. You have to give it 4, 5, 6 months minimum. But I'm with Colleen. They're probably not going to rebuy that. It depends on how much you charged and what you got in shipping. If you can absorb the first class international price, then what Colleen just suggested might help. Otherwise, you might be losing out, and it might be best to cancel. I don't know. Laura, changing the cover shot. If you're talking about your main photo on your eBay listing, you just need to add a photo, and make that new photo that you upload the main photo, and then you can delete the old one or move it to another slot. All photos show locks, and I'm not allowed to change the cover shot frequently. Yeah, you should be able to edit your photos. The only reason you can't edit your photos or edit anything on an eBay listing is if you have an open offer or offers pending. At that point, you can't edit anything, because then you could get an offer from someone and then change something, and it makes it a totally different item or a different picture or something the buyer didn't see. So once you have an offer locked in, you cannot change anything about the listing. So you may want to check for offers on that. Otherwise, you should just be able to upload a new photo, click it, move it into the main spot, and change the main photo. Should be pretty straightforward with that. I'm assuming it's because you have an offer or somebody interested in it. Yep, Marie just said it. Open offers will stop you from editing everything, basically. The description, the photos, the title, the pictures. You can't really edit anything once you have open offers. Or if you have bids on them. Yeah, Colleen's right. If you have an auction and it has bids, then you can't edit it either. So are either one of those the case? Yeah, so your store can get drugged down if things are just sitting and relisting over and over and over again. You got a whole store of stuff. If you only have a couple things that are just, you're waiting on the right buyer, that's fine too. You do want to have some sales activity though. You can't just have no sales over and over and just all the same items going nonstop. So just be careful how long stuff is sitting. Be cognizant of how long you've had it, the pricing, any kind of changes. Some things are worth $100 when you get them, and over the course of a few months of relisting, they dropped in value. So keep an eye out for that. Sometimes they go up in value. If it's an auction and not buy it now, it could be problem changing the photos. Yeah, so you just gotta let us know if it has offers, or if it has bids, or if it's a buy it now versus an auction. There's a couple of different things that could be stopping you from editing. That's totally what's happening. Oh, okay, yeah, there you go. Okay, so Laura confirmed it. You are right. You are correct, and you are awesome, Laura. Thank you. So no worries. You'll be able to edit them after you finish with your offers or your bids. Okay, what is the best duration for auctions? In this case, coins. Karen, I don't do coins. Most people run auctions for 7 days. Sunday is typically the best day to end auctions. It just has the most activity. So Sunday to Sunday. I don't know the coin market. Remember, like 72% or 80% or some high percent of all, I think it's 80% now this year, all eBay transactions are done buy it now. Very few are auctions anymore. People that do auctions are moving inventory, or they have a really unique item or bids or charity or whatever. Coins may be one of those categories that auctions works for. I don't sell coins. So there's a lot of things I don't sell. I don't sell coins. I don't sell jewelry. I don't sell any of that kind of stuff. So books, very rarely. Barbie, nowhere. Very rarely do I ever put anything on auctions. And half the time I do, people end up not paying for it anyways. So boo on that. Okay, so that is the rundown of that. Okay, so anybody else having issues? Debbie is running sales events at different percentages for different lengths of time has really helped increase sales. Had my first month last month over 2,000 in sales. That is awesome, Debbie. Yeah, so I kind of suggested that to people that you can run your store at different percentages and kind of mix it up. So I've got some people that like to run big sales over the weekend, maybe 20% off. And during the week, like Monday through Friday, they just do 10% of, like their normal inventory. So they always, they mix those sales up. Maybe one week they just have this blown out, going out of business sale, whatever you want to call it. Not really, but you know what I mean? And they put like 25% off. They'll adjust prices if they need, but just mixing it up, doing things, if you're doing the same thing over and over again, it's not working, then you have to change it up. You have to. Have to change it up. So over 2,000 in sales is awesome, Debbie. So how many items active to get to 2,000? How many, what's your average sale price, or how many items did you sell? That's a good number. We can get you to 3. We can get you to 3,500. We can get you to 4 and double that even. I know before you were at like 1,500. So, 3,000 would be a doubling of what you were at previously. So you're almost there. I mean, you're getting it. And you're talking about $2,000 over, a 31-day month last month, which is 64. Normally it'd be like $66, $67 a day. I'm assuming you have probably like a $20 average sale price. So you sold 3 to 4 items a day. How many active? I love to see when people put up stuff like that, and they really have upped their sales from $1,000 a month to 2,000 or 3,000 or whatever. It's good to hear. It's good to hear. Sold 50. One was a big sale at 900. Oh, so one item took care of your entire half your month. So assuming that you sold the other 49 for 1,100. You have a $22 average sale price outside of that. So $22 is your average sale price. I mean, if you have those once a month sales of 500, 600, 900, you can't really count on them. But if you have those type of items, then they can certainly boost up your average sale price. They can boost up your 550 active. Average sales about 25. Yeah, it was looking about $22 and change. I mean, when you do $2,000 divided by your 50, it obviously shows a 40, but that's because the $900 item skews your averages. So that's pretty good, Debbie. Pretty good. 550 active to sell 2,000. So if I'm doing that at 1%, you should sell 5 a day. We'll even cut you a break at 4 a day. A normal priced items. So that would mean you sold 120 items a month, and at your $22 thing, you should be selling about $2,600 to $2,800. Can't find enough of that inventory. Nope, $900 items that are profitable is hard to locate. No doubt about it. I've sold some $900 items in my life, but not many. You got to target those $30 and $40 items to keep that $22 up, to get it closer to 30, and then get your sell-through rate. I mean, you're only selling not even 2 a day. And so with 550 items, that concerns me. I need to see your inventory to see what kind of quality of items you have, how they're priced, how they're listed. Feel free to share the store here, or you can share it through my email also. I'll be running through some more stores tonight. In the last 2 months, I probably reviewed 1,000 stores. Not even kidding, guys. Like legit 1,000 stores. I've done like 30 today. Maybe even more than that, honestly. Probably done 40 today. I don't know. I've done like 60 since yesterday. So just to give you guys an idea. I've seen a lot of stores and a lot of bad stuff. A lot of good stuff, but a lot of bad stuff too. So I can usually tell when I look at a store, you know, and you have 550 items and you're only selling one a day, that there's a problem. So, okay, that's good. Going up to 3 to 4 items. That's good. That's good. I've been focused on Amazon. Took it from 300 in June to 2,000 in July. eBay stayed at 6,000. Looking to do 5 or 6,000. Yeah, Debbie, I do remember looking at it, but a month later, I wanted to kind of see the changes you've done. But you're on it. 3 to 4 a day is good. Joe, yeah, you've been pushing the Amazon. Amazon to get to 5 or 6,000 should be easier than eBay. You just have to feed the beast. Amazon is just a pure feed. Otherwise, you know, the sales won't happen. Colleen is super smart, knows everything. Anyways, I did review Colleen's store, and we went over a lot of stuff, and she knew what she was doing. She was on the right track. She had it. Just needed a little, you know, a couple fixes on a couple things, and now she's just rolling with it. I mean, you know, Colleen's sales are probably what everyone in here really hopes for. I don't want to talk about her numbers, but, you know. Marie, my email is just rockstarflipper@gmail.com. You can reach me there. I have 2 separate eBay accounts, no store. I think I have quality items. What is the reason that you have 2 different eBay accounts with no store? Is it just using the 50 free so you don't have to pay any store fee, or what's the rationale behind that one? A little confused. I recommend 2 eBay stores almost never. There's some certain circumstances that it helps, besides just social media people. But like there's some people that sell weird items in the normal store. I don't recommend it usually because you got double the logins, double the accounting, double the prices, double the store costs if you have stores. There's so much that you just need one store. And people don't search for items based on the store. There are people that follow certain stores and go into their stores and look, but 98% of your items, your searches and your sales are going to be through normal searches, not because they saved your store name. So I don't think that matters too much. What were the biggest fixes, Colleen, if you want to share? The biggest fixes for Colleen, let me see if I can remember. So one of the things that Colleen had at the time was that she had a lot of good items, but she was, and correct me if I'm wrong on this, Colleen was always shooting really high on the prices. I don't think she was out of her mind. I just think she was always at the top end. I remember this clearly. She was at the top end of the pricing, and she got it. A lot of times she got it. She got those high prices, and it was great, but a lot of her items were taking longer than what I thought they should have taken to sell. Nothing wrong with that. You'd rather sell 10 items for $100 rather than 100 items for $10. But at the same time, you have to keep inventory moving. Running sales and promoting, ending and selling similar was another one. Yeah, constantly running the sales and promoting. Here's the thing that I learned. A lot of people don't do this. They just list stuff. And we call this hanging your shingle. So they will take an item and they'll list it up on eBay because it's a good item. Okay, it's a good item. And remember, there's millions of people searching eBay, so somebody should find your item and buy it, right? But all they would do is just sit and list and put these items up. And good items, bad items, whatever. But even with the good items, they're just sitting it there. Just like if I open a clothes store, right? And I open the clothing store right here, and I put all this great inventory in the clothing store. And then that's all I do. I don't do anything but hang my shingle up. You have to get people to come to your store. You have to get them to click. You have to run a sale. You have to promote it to get your items up in front of people. You got to run best offers, free shipping. You have to use good keywords. You have to get people in front of your items. If you don't, no one sees your stuff. No one buys it. It's over. I mean, nothing's going to happen. That's just the way it works. If no one sees your stuff and no one sees good prices and good items, you'll never sell anything. You have to get in front of people. You can't just hang your shingle up. So, yeah, Deb, never flat out decline. Yeah, I never straight decline an offer, no matter how lowball it is, unless it's an absolute, obvious troll, like offering me 99 cents on a $40 item. At that point, yeah, I'll decline that. I'm not even going to counter it. But if somebody offers me $10 on a $40 item, I'm not just going to decline it and move on or set my auto decline. I think that's silly. Counter them at $35 and say, hey, look, I'm happy to give you a little discount. I'm happy to come to 35 or maybe 30. I can't do $10. After the fees and shipping, there's just no money left. So that's what I would do. And you'd be surprised at how many deals you will close because people will be like, all right, let's negotiate. Yeah, you want to run sales for shorter amount of time and not a month, because if you give somebody a month, like, hey, buy my shoes, they're on sale all month, they'll be like, oh, I'll come back and buy it whenever I feel like. If you give them, hey, Friday to Monday, these shoes are on sale for the weekend only, you got to buy them by midnight, Sunday night or Monday morning or whatever, they're going to say, oh my God, I got to buy them today or tomorrow. I have to buy them today or tomorrow. And it's going to get that urgency. I mean, you see the sales that eBay stores, or not eBay stores, retail stores run, like, 4th of July sale, good all weekend long. You got to get in by 4th of July or whatever. You know what I'm talking about. So, yeah, Colleen also your sales. I have a young lady who emails me almost every night, and she sends me her spreadsheet for like accountability with how many listings she put up, what her sales were for the day, and what her active total was. And I can see on the days, she went away somewhere for 3 or 4 days, and 0 listings, 0 listings, 0 listings, 0 listings. Her sales for the day were like 0, 24, 0, 44. She came back and listed all week long at like 10 items, 12 items, 10 items, 12 items, 10, 10, all the way down for like the whole week. And her sales were 147, 160, 65, 180. It was just night and day from going 3 or 4 days without listing to a week straight listing. And, and then being able to pay attention to her sales. It's work. It's not just like an autopilot platform. So. Deb says that other people bought full price while counters were out. Yeah, twice. Yeah, that happens too. It's kind of like eBay detects it as activity because you're getting offers, and then they push that merchandise to like other potential buyers. It's pretty crazy. That's crazy that it happened twice, no less. So yeah, I mean, activity. It's the cliche. You have to list every day, but you have to, and it has to be good stuff. Just what we circled back and started with. It has to be good stuff. So. Yeah, if you want to get rid of all the crap, you can do auctions to move all of your crap. 99 cents plus $4.99 shipping, or $1.99 plus $5.99 shipping. Whatever you have to do, you can move that stuff like that. You can also do like buy it now is $9.99 free shipping, just to make $2 or $3. Depending on what you paid for it. Even if you didn't pay good for it, just get rid of it. Move the inventory, get money, bring in a couple $100 and put it into better inventory. It constantly has to have stuff people want. Always doing some kind of activity is super important. So there's when I review these stores, I don't, if I just do a quick little $8 review or whatever it is, I can't spend a ton of time, but I can look through their store, I can send them a full report, and then I can tell them, look, it looks like, in 30 days you've listed, how many items have you listed? You listed 20 items. It's just not going to cut it. You can't cut, listing 10 or 15 items this weekend and then you go all week without listing. It's just not going to work. Always have to be putting new inventory in front of people, and it helps keep the other inventory in front of them as well. Yeah, if you're doing just clothing, it's going to take a lot of inventory. It's going to take hundreds, if not thousands of pieces. If you're doing shoes and accessories, it's a volume numbers game. I've got a friend that has 100 listings that sells $30,000 a month. How does he do it? He's selling $500 and $600 tablets and cell phones. That's how. He puts up 10 of them in a day, and 5 of them sell for $300, $1,500. Boom. It's just the nature. You want to sell electronics, you want to sell tech, higher risk, higher reward, higher profits. Yeah, go ahead. But you got to search pawn shops. You got to search Craigslist ads. You got to search Facebook, marketplaces, yard sale groups. You have to be hunting for these video games and video game systems. You can absolutely find this stuff that's worth $100, $200, $300. You don't even have to sell cell phones. You can do like PS4s sell for, $150, $200 in bundles, Nintendo 64, Super Nintendos, video games that are worth $20, $30, $40. You can sell microphones like this, headphones, gaming headphones are super popular. Gaming keyboards, fold-up keyboards, light-up keyboards, mice, gaming mice that might be $100 brand new that sell for $40 used, webcams, GoPros, cameras, lenses. There's so much stuff. Vintage cameras, Polaroids, new age, DSLR. There's so many things that, yeah, they're worth $100, $150, $250. You're going to have to put up $50. You're not going to go into a store and buy 25 shirts for $2 each. You're going to buy one camera for $50, but you're only going to have to list one thing, and you're going to make a $50, $60, $75 profit, as opposed to listing those same 25 shirts. You'll make more money if they all sold. You'd make $10 a shirt, $250, but look at the work involved. So it's obvious that you want to sell higher dollar items. They're not as easy to find. You have to get good at it. You have to have capital to put into them. So I schedule listings to start while I'm on vacation. That's a great one. Better late than never. Hey, Jeff. yeah, so if you're going to be gone, if you're going to the beach or you have to work all day, you have a full-time job, schedule drafts. Do 10 drafts today and make 8 of them live and keep 2 or 3 in the drafts, completely done, priced, photographed, description, everything up. And then tomorrow when you get up and you're headed to work or whatever, you get into work and you know you're not going to be able to get on eBay all day, just open it up, finish, open it up, finish, open it up, finish. Your eBay has activity today, and at least you've got something going on. You won't kill yourself. So just some good tips for all of you guys to have. Focus on the store, treat it like a business, put the work in, and you'll see the results. List every day, schedule, do sales, and sell good stuff. Sell good stuff and price it correctly. It's okay to go a little high and do best offer, but don't go insane. Okay, so with that said, I'm going to go finish up some of these stores. Feel free to email me, rockstarflipper@gmail.com. Thanks for joining me. We'll schedule another one next weekend. And make sure if you have questions or concerns, you get your questions, you get your concerns, get them ready, ask me. Email me all week, but if you come around to the live show, then you can post them in the live show. So, Jeff, sorry we're heading out, but yeah, I've been on about 45 minutes, so I'm going to let you guys get back to your listing and work, and I'm going to get back to mine. The dogs are going crazy. Anyways, thanks so much, and I will see you in the next live show. I'll see you guys inside the group, and anything else you need, just let me know. Good night, everyone.